What's up, kids? Happy Monday. Hope everybody's well. Having a little tripod issues here and sitting here in the studio, so hopefully I'll work this out as we're talking. This is a really cool question that somebody asked, and I think they were asking me in a private message to pitch me on, I don't know, a planning software or something for next year, I'm guessing. It looked more like a pitch though than a real conversation. But anyway, it's a really good question, right? So, what are you doing now? What am I doing now? Our planning days for our team are coming up here in a few, next week. We're doing our planning days for 2021. So, what a cool question. What am I doing now to ensure success or make success happen or plan for it the right way or whatever? What do I think is going to actually bring real success in 2021? Love that question. And oh my gosh, have I thought about that a million times over the past 8 months like the rest of us have? Heck yeah. So, let's break this down. When this came to mind, three things immediately came to mind, and this is what we're doing as a team, and it's what I hear so often repeated in the market, but it's real, okay? First, let's just break this down. I'm going to kind of give you the three here, and then we'll break them out because I think it's important to break them out. One is prospecting and selling, right? Obviously. The second is time management, right? So just making sure we have enough time to actually get it all done because we've all been pretty crushed with a lot of time use this year. And then the third is being flexible because things are still changing so fast. We kind of have to be able to adapt and move quickly through the marketing, through how the market's shifting, through our products and services, all that kind of stuff. All right, so let's talk through those three things. Those are the three things that come to mind. That's what my team and I are planning. We're doing our planning days. We have 2 planning days every 90 days set aside. So we don't actually plan for all of 2021. We plan in a 90-day increment. My team and I, this is what we really do. We plan for 90-day increments, and we do that every 90 days. So our planning days are coming up here next week. And let me just lower this down just a bit if I can. Again, sorry, having a little tripod issue here. And so here's exactly what we're doing to prepare. All right. First up, selling and prospecting. A business coach told me 10, 12 years ago, and it was the truest thing ever and smacked me between the eyes, that if I don't have a predictable way to prospect and close new deals at will, then I don't have a business. All right. If I don't have a predictable way to turn on a flow of prospects, I picture it like a spigot on the wall. Okay. So let's say I have back here on the studio wall, let's say I have a spigot here and I can turn it on or off, and I can get the flow of prospects coming in and out like a water spigot on a wall. If I don't have a predictable way to turn that spigot of prospects on and off, to vary the flow how I want them, and to close them predictably, and to move them into our clientele, then I don't have a business. When that guy told me that, I paid him to tell me that. But when he told me that, I was like, no, man, I got a business. I've been an entrepreneur for a while. I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, do you have that? And I was like, well, no, but we're making money. He's like, well, then you're lucky. You're not making money out of luck. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to be able to control your business flow. So number one, what we're doing as a team to answer this question, phenomenal question, is we are ensuring that we have a predictable way to generate prospects. We have 2 business lines, right? We have 2 completely separate business models, 2 completely separate digital agencies that do completely separate things for different markets, all right? We're ensuring that we have a prospecting system in place that's organic and paid, that drives traffic, that's the right people, that brings people in so we can close them. Then we have a very structured sales process for both of those practices, and we sell at a ratioed number. And I have been selling for 20 something years, and I still use a sales script that's not like rigid, but that's definitely a format so that I know where it's breaking, what's working, what's not working. That really helps us pivot, by the way. That's helped us a ton. Like, can't overstate how much having a sales process and a sales script has helped during this whole pandemic thing, 2020, because the markets have shifted so rapidly every week or two in lots of these months. And it's been really nice to be able to look back at the sales processes and say, we have a consistent flow of prospects coming in. Lots of sales opportunities is what that means, which means you can tinker with your sales process, your offer, your pivots, all that kind of thing. All right. Lots of prospects just means you have lots of opportunity to try selling, which gives you a lot of confidence to tinker with prices, tinker with objections, tinker with restacking things a different way. All that really, really matters. Okay. So, number one, what am I doing for next year? And how are we planning? How are we planning our next 90 days? For us, again, we plan 90-day increments, but how are we planning for 2021, which we do our planning days next week as a team? We are making sure that we're continuing to dial in the prospecting and selling process for both of the markets that we reach into, okay? That's number one. Number two, time management, all right? I say time management because that's often what gets in the way of us prospecting and selling, is being very inefficient. And we talked about this on our Friday live Q&A, and just getting systems and delegation going, really helping with that process as much as we can. Lean in for questions on any of this stuff. Feel free to ask questions here. I want to clarify, because there's no reason anyone should be left in the dark of how to plan for next year. All right, the systems and processes, getting your time back, really owning the time management process, saying no to things, saying yes to the right things, cutting things out of your workflow, handing your workflow off, whatever you can do to get your time back. For two reasons. One, so you can actually focus on prospecting and selling the right way, and so you can take some time off. You need to rest. You can't physically run marathons every morning. Like in real life, a runner can't do that. They have to eventually rest. You all watch these documentaries. I've seen them too. Somebody's like running 50 marathons in 50 states here in the US in 50 days. And you watch them just start to be eaten up, like their body starts collapsing. That's what we do as entrepreneurs when we don't take breaks, and what's up, Tim? And we have this amazing run of a crazy year and we're just all in hustling. We got to take breaks. And if we don't, we'll collapse like those marathon runners who are nonstop running. And they make a cool documentary, but they're destroying themselves at the same time. Don't destroy yourself. You got this. All right, so number one, still, again, super love this question, is a consistent pattern, a predictable, locked in way to get prospects in and to close them. That is for both of the businesses that my agency runs. That's how we're planning. We know what that system is. We know what works. We're constantly tweaking it and tinkering with that. And that works, okay? You got to have that. If you don't have prospecting and selling as a pattern that's predictable, you don't have a business. So glad somebody told me that a while back. It forced me to get one, all right? The second thing is, we're really honing in on our time management. We are outsourcing, delegating, handing off, cutting things, saying no to things in our workflow like crazy. We've been doing that for years, and we're more ruthless now than ever. We don't have time to waste. We get after it. We get our part done. It's the highest profit margin stuff. We hand off everything else that we can that's not as profitable to our agency, to other agencies who like doing that kind of thing. Awesome. Let somebody else handle it, okay? And then third thing is being flexible, all right? The pivoting and shifting and figuring out how to adjust to a market that's ever changing. Laura, awesome. Great to see you. No is the best word in the world. You're so right, Laura. So pivoting and knowing how to shift and change as your market shifts. I mentioned this a second ago when I was talking like how to generate prospects and how to generate lots of opportunity to sell so you can tinker with your sales process. Having lots of prospects coming in is the best way to stay flexible in your market. All right, flexibility is a mindset. You know, as we age, researchers say that we get less flexible, right? Oh, can't teach an old dog new tricks, all those little colloquialisms that really mean something. You don't meet a lot of like grandparent age people who are as flexible and ever changing as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old teenagers like I've got. I'm less flexible than my kids in the way that I see the world. I'm trying to stay flexible, but you know what I'm saying. The point is, flexibility is often a mindset, and it's often a practice to stay flexible, okay? So having a lot of prospects, this is why the first thing I mentioned for our agency planning that we're doing is continuing to hone that prospecting and that sales pattern. Because if you don't have, I'll say it again, if you don't have a predictable way to generate prospects and leads and a predictable way to close them, then what's happening is you don't have a business. Yes, simple phrase, but what's happening is you really don't have enough traffic flow coming in to test the market. You're not able to see what do they really need, what do they really want, what's changing, what's going on. So much has changed in 2020. We've pivoted our stuff probably 6 times this year, which is great. It's been super helpful. I'm really glad we have. We've made money doing it, but it's work, right? And having that flow allows us to pivot and allows us to try things out. That is so important. So the 3 things are having a absolute rock solid way to prospect and close sales, all right? That's a pattern you have to have a business. Having a really good focus, number 2, having a really good focus on our time usage, saying no to things, delegating things, systemizing things, getting our time back, my time and my team's time, so that we can do more research, prospecting, selling, and focus on the things in our workflow that make us the most money in the least amount of time, that have the most fun connected to them. And then we hand off everything else. And then the third thing is being so flexible, where we're honest with what the market's doing, how we're learning through our prospecting and selling, how our workflow's going, and constantly being willing to go through the hard work of changing products and services, or restacking the offer, or tweaking a sales call script, or figuring out new ways to prospect. Or I like, for instance, I don't use bots, but some people love using bots. And I hear that's quite a bit of work. So you got to keep going in, changing scripts, understanding what's working. That's great, but it's work, right? But we got to be committed to that kind of work, whatever that is for you and your agency, and figuring out what works, what doesn't, and making those changes happen. And again, I can't overstate how important it is to focus on systems and processes to get your team and your time back, while also using that time to prospect and sell, all right? Prospecting and selling is one category, and having an absolute locked-in way to guarantee that you're getting a lot of leads so you can hone your sales process. So critical. If you don't have that, you don't have a business. Then being really wise with your time so that you can focus on some rest, and prospecting and selling so you can really pivot well. Excuse me, and then pivoting well. Making sure that as we learn and hear what's going on in our market and sell, that the pivoting is happening, that we don't get lazy. You know, this is in my head. I don't know if it's real or not, but I used to think that, once you get the perfect funnel built, or once you get the perfect e-course product built, or once you get the perfect mastermind going, or once you get the perfect done-for-you service or coaching program, or, well, I'm on enough podcasts now where leads just come in like crazy, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to keep building. You get to just stop and let the money tree just pay you out, right? That's so not real. I used to think that was real because experts often kind of pitch it as, oh, we're going to flip these 3 switches and then you're set for life. You can go sit on the beach and do nothing. It just doesn't happen that way. People change, markets change, what people need help with changes. And more now than ever, things are changing constantly. So the days of assuming that are gone, just being brutally honest here. And the days of having to refocus and reshift and rechange and stay on your toes and stay energetic about that is here. That's what's happening now. So get your rest, say no to things, do the stuff you need to do that makes the most amount of money in the least amount of time, that generates the most amount of fun for you and your team, and say no or outsource everything else. Make sure you have a locked-in way to prospect and sell. Use patterns, use scripts, use templates. Do that work to get a system in place. If you don't have a way to predictably generate leads and close those leads, then you do not have a business. So get that figured out. And then be flexible to make those pivots, pivot. That is the extremely wordy, long answer to that fantastic question. That was a really great question. And again, I think somebody pitched that question to me. I went back and tried to find it in our messages. I couldn't find it. It was in a private message. I think it was pitched to me to try to sell me something, which was whatever. I don't care. Fine. Way to go, whoever pitched that message to me. Glad you're trying. Way to prospect, right? I mean, seriously, prospecting. Yeah, you. The point is, what a great question, right? So what are you doing? Think about it for yourself. What are you doing to make sure that you know the steps you need to take? Sheridan, awesome to see you. What are you doing to make sure you know the steps you need to take in 2021? I've explained what those steps are for me and my agency. I honestly think they'll be pretty similar for most of us as coaches, agency owners, whatever, everybody in this group. But ultimately, you've got to make that happen. You've got to take the time, lock it down, sit down over a Friday afternoon with a cup of coffee or whatever, and actually do the planning. If you have a team, bring them in on it. Maybe it takes you 2 whole days. Maybe it takes you a whole week. It's worth it, all right? Do the planning, nail those things down. If you're like, Chris, that's awesome, but dude, what if I come across something in my planning and I don't know how to do it, don't know how to solve the problem? Well, find somebody who knows how to do it, right? Lean in. There are so many experts in this world who want to help you. And you're already looking at some of those experts thinking, maybe I should hire that person to help me. Do it, right? If you don't know how to get that next jump done, do it, all right? I'm looking right now at who's going to be coaching me and my team next year. because we need coaches. I want to move faster, and I don't want to waste a year learning something that somebody else has already figured out that I could just grab the set of keys, turn the ignition on, and go, right? Do the same for you. All right, that's it for me. Folks, have a great week. It is Monday. Get out there and crush it. All right, we got 2 more weeks that we're going to be selling and being active and being awesome in our agency right here at Scenthold, my done-for-you service, and Elite Agency, all this stuff that we do here in the Facebook group. We're here for 2 more weeks. Then my team and I are taking off a full 2 weeks around the holidays and stuff like that. You can do the same thing, right? Bottom line is know when your stop date is for the year, plan some time off, get your planning done, crush it in the meantime, and get out there and don't let a second of this go by. This is the most amazing time I've seen in a long, long time, meaning like over the past 2 decades. Yeah, I'd say even through the 9/11 stuff, the recession that came after the terrorist attacks here in America. I know that's a dark day to just bring up that casually, but from a market standpoint, and even the stuff that happened in 2008 with the financial crisis, the housing bubble that popped, all that kind of stuff, this moment right here, I'm seeing more opportunity in than those because people want to learn, they want to change, and from a digital marketing agency standpoint, and a coaching and a leadership standpoint, like you all have, people want your help. So get out there and offer them your help. You totally got this. I'm loving this market right now, not because of the pain that's in the market, but because of the opportunity to help people. I'm sad at what's happened, right? This has been a tough year, but hard times bring reality to the surface and people show up and they say, it's been tough and I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? So be ready to help your people. They are looking for you. All right. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be here live again Tuesday morning, tomorrow morning, and we'll answer more questions. Fire away, and we'll get them covered for you. Thanks, guys. Bye.